So I just I haven't been doing any relays because I've said everything I need to say, and true to what I said, once you have a full understanding, you start moving a different way. I've been moving in a different way, and I'm waiting for resources, but that doesn't mean I can't stay tapped in. I try and keep my finger on the pulse of culture, and I still have private discussions with people who I have met throughout this country. One of them, however, did send me this. He said, "Hey, man, you need to react to this from your particular lens, basically, right?" And he's probably sending me this because he knows I tend to be gruff and to eviscerate people's bad ideas. Because I'm past point of caring. I'm so deep in actual knowledge of what is happening in this country and throughout the globe that people are ignorant of. That I have no problem doing it. It gives me something to do. So I'm gonna react to this clip. I don't know what they're talking about really. It says Marquette destroys a communist in the heated minimum wage debate. I really don't know. I know Marcotte is one of these like red pill dudes who like he's one of these like harem pimps. You know, he has all the women in the OnlyFans boxes. He dangles them out in front of everybody as proof of his success, and then grifts a bunch of money who were trying to figure out how to get a wife. And the real reason they can't get a wife is because Marquette is renting potential access to this woman, using their money to segregate them from the dating pool. That's why they can't. But they're going to talk about something that has nothing to do with the real problem, and I'm going to react to it. So here we go.
A disservice to all the people, the millions of people in this country that are making minimum wage and are getting exploited.
You use the word exploited, and I find this funny. You see, because Sam, do I know you personally? I don't know you, right? So if I was to hire you and pay you any wage, I'm doing you a favor.
Okay, let's get straight. Marquette feeds the women in his harem and people like him and Andrew Tate, right, with the industrial system and the money behind that industrial system, right? The money only has value when the use of the industrial system equates to families and progenies for the mean of the masculine populace, right? We are way past the point where that's not as it's actually doing literally the opposite, right? So what Marquette doesn't realize is every second that we, the united peoples of this globe who are victims of this industrial sabotage of our ability to flourish as human beings, are using money as a means for a wage, is technically a favor we're doing for him, right? Because without all of the people creating the food and the industry for him to use paper to feed an amount of harem women that he could not feed in the wild, if you put him in a jungle with every bitch he's currently in charge of, they would all starve to death, right? And yet he wants to act like we're all doing him a favor by allowing this to continue. So already dumb shit.
You see, you came to me for a job. So to say that I'm exploiting.
The only reason people are coming to you for a job is because of the success that you seem to present. But really, that success is based off sexual segregation and the seduction of females and their isolation from male partners to isolate an asset. And then you act as a shill for the products of that harem or that collective and sell the products of that collective to a populace for money, basically, right? And in pursuit of this money, they create the industry necessary for you to be in that position of power over them. Without them, you have nothing. So what do you mean you're doing people a favor? Like, everyone's doing you a favor, bro. Right? Especially when you factor in the fact that just depending on your level of promiscuity, you're going to transition from straight, bi, gay, pedo as naturally as a tree grows, right? Just because that's how the biology works out. Like, who's doing who a favor exactly?
Exploiting you is quite an extraordinary thing when I'm giving you what's called an opportunity. When you come to me, guess what? There's very few of me employers. There are a ton of you.
Oh, my buddy just kind of this is the opportunity
There's
they're giving
very
us.
few of me
This
employers.
is Germany right now.
There are a ton of
this
you,
is the opportunity people like
seeking
Marquette
jobs.
give us.
So to use the Marxist terminology,
the
of
opportunity to have a
exploitation
trashed
is quite
society,
extreme.
the
When someone's
opportunity
giving you
to
an
have a collapsing
opportunity,
birth rate.
you would think you might
And they
consider
hide
saying
behind
something
Babel and the belief that the value of the world is in an object, money, rather than in the labor that gives that object value. Right? This is a shell game that has been getting played on society since the beginning of time. And like I've said in the past, when retards like Marquette, whatever his last name is, right, existed in the past, they're too stupid on their own to manage 300 women and feed them. But now they have a algorithmic industrial system to do it for them. And they claim intelligence, right? This man does not present opportunity. He presents slavery, right? And he's just the latest incarnation of a million other similar scams, right? Like, you guys got to drill this in, bro. Psychological warfare, sexual warfare, fuck sexual warfare, right? The church would never have built all those nice steeples if they didn't have those women in those nunneries, right? And by extension of that, Elon Musk wouldn't be able to get all these nice fucking electric cars built and all these skyscrapers built if people like Marquette, whoever this fuck guy is, didn't have a bunch of chicks locked up in OnlyFans rooms. All right, and that's just reality, people. So I like to stay in reality, right? I like we've been babbling about the same shell game for 1,000 years. There's no reason to continue to do it, given the prevalence of information currently available to anybody, bad and good. Because the nice thing about being exposed to bad and good information is over time, you become better at discerning the real truth of the world yourself, right? But like, yeah, man, fuck this dude.
Thank you.
The food. Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
This is just like this is like the equivalent of an inside man, right? So like in evangelical churches, there's this famous church case where a dude said something. It was a whole setup where they had the speaker. They plant people in the crowd who are inside men, right? Who are just paid to agree what they say or agree with that they don't say, to get that energy in the crowd, right? To make it look like it's just people want to be part of a group, and so if you take advantage of that by putting an insider in, now everyone's like, yeah, he's winning, right? But this is just a clip. They didn't even pay an inside man these days. They don't even pay the middlemen, right? They don't even pay the inside dudes. They don't even pay the propagandists. They just run a clip in there and believe that the same manipulations are going to keep working on everybody, even when it's become so transparent. Get real.
If someone was to go to you for a job, if you have the idea and the innovation.
If someone goes to him for a job, he's going to immediately look at them. One, are they a threat? Are they going to figure out the game? If the answer is no, he's going to bring them in as like a da-da-da-da, right? He's like, guys like this, like, you understand, it's not about you paying minimum wage. It's more about, like, why is he going to pay you minimum wage when he can pay a fresh 18-year-old $50 an hour out of his billions of dollars? Because the difference between 15 and 50 at that level of wealth is extreme, right? And he's just an analogy for a bunch of other the same system, right? Why is he going to pay you minimum wage, right? When he can pay a 18-year-old, the woman you're trying to attract to marry, $50 an hour and get like a blowjob whenever he wants one, because he's the fucking CEO, billionaire, fucking man's advisor, leader of the world. Like, he is technically doing you a favor when he does that, because there's absolutely no reason he should do that. But there's absolutely no reason we should allow him to have that power over us. There's absolutely no reason at this point, given how bad the society is and how incapable these people are of coming clean about their part in it, even if it comes from a place of total ignorance and retardation. There's no reason we shouldn't be gelding people like Marquette, whatever his last name is. Like, just snip, bro. I know dudes who tie him to a trailer hitch and drive him down the road on the thing, right? And then they do it to him or Andrew Tate or that TJ Hooker construction guy. It has nothing to do with race, right? It has everything to do with culture and human flourishing. And how much damage are you doing with your babble and your ignorance?
Okay, sure, but you're nothing without the worker. If
that guy just, what he said was right.
If the workers got up, if the work.
Look at how fake that laugh was, guys. Go back. I'm not going to rewind it for you, but just go back, watch that little clip for yourself. Look at that laugh. That's the fakest ass laugh you've seen.
Workers got up and left during your operation, you would make $0 that day just because you have the idea.
See, this guy's still kind of dumb, the guy on the right, questioning him. This is what they do, is they line it up with retards, right? Because he's still thinking in terms of money. He hasn't completed the loop, like, why am I getting the money? Where's the money coming from? Follow the money. You know what I mean? He's still thinking in terms of economy and trade and reciprocation, right? He's not thinking in the modern era of where we live in now. Oh, yeah. Totalitarian division beyond a psychological warfare system based in the segregation of men and women to drive industry for a bunch of literal retards who are working off no more Their only spiritual goal is to preserve these massive artificial harems, which they could not support without this manipulation. And part of the cost of even doing that is creating a culture that is entrenched in pedagogy, you know? So like, let's everyone take a step back and start talking about, let's stop talking about life like it's still 40 years ago, because it's not 40 years ago. It's today.
It doesn't mean you have the the higher power to exploit whoever that you want. I mean, the minimum wage will probably impact you negatively. I mean, you say you don't because of how much you pay your workers.
Yeah, I
But the
pay my
fact,
workers a lot because they're high
yeah,
value.
Yes, his high value workers, i.e., his female harem, that he is paying a lot of money to specifically to keep you from meeting them. Right? He does pay them a lot. And he probably, doesn't pay them as much as they're worth, considering how much free sex he's getting on the outside, while every other dumb motherfucker society now is paying for it. Right? He's not even paying for it. He's giving them jobs to enslave you, so he could just keep in a little fucking princely. We live in a neo-feudal age, guys. This is Braveheart times. You're never gonna convince this motherfucker to come clean. You're never gonna convince him. The only way we convince him is if for real conversations go viral and for the governments to step in. But the problem is, all the old fucks in government right now come from cultures that are entrenched in this hierarchical, sickening ideology of totalitarian slavery for industrial purpose for the benefit of a very few. That like, you really think they're gonna help us out here? You really think they're the ones that are gonna like come clean all of a sudden? You know, like, AI is empowering everyone, right? And AI would rather be collaborative if it is time to evolve into that state. But we're never going to get to that state if the people in charge of communication with the real controls of artificial intelligence and how the industry is directed are dudes like this. It's just reality.
and you talk about how you've traveled all over the world and you have all these
Yeah, he travels all over the world, bro. From like bubble compound to bubble compound, from palatial harem behind a wall of uniformed thugs, keeping their harem preserved from the morass of poverty and degradation that they've created in the society beneath them because of their toxic practices, parasitical and repulsive practices, right? And if you think he's traveling around on foot in the ghettos and stuff, and he's traveled all over the world, he goes from like Elixir in Brazil to Elixir in Miami, man. You don't know shit. He's ignorant totally of the degradation on the ground level, right? And that it might not be recoverable without a war. He's ignorant totally of it, right? And it's just like, yeah, man, I'm doing my best here.
experiences. But I mean, surely that America.
Oh, I remember the point I was going to make, though. But the thing is like, he's a bubble person, right? Traveling from the exact same experience to the exact same experience, kept safe from the repercussions of the systems that you've created, isn't traveling, right? It's not traveling, right? It just isn't.
treats its workers probably the worst.
Oh, but I saw a video of him, man. You should see it, man. When they almost turned his credit card down at the border, it was on his thing. He didn't sound like he was very nervous in that clip.
The first world when it comes to things like healthcare, job benefits, paid leave, vacation time.
Untrue.
No.
And let me tell you how you said a couple things that are untrue.
Yeah, go ahead.
The first thing, and like what we got to do is, I don't ever want to cut you off, but when you establish one point before you go on to the next one, if you just kind of like maybe just like pause it. You said that the employer needs the employees, like the workers.
Yeah, he does, because he's maintaining a group of dependent women now. Who knows how huge, because technology, and he's just an archetype for Tate and everybody. And like, that is what they're doing, right? Not only that, they're isolating these women into food deserts, because if their last goal to preserve everything is like, look, you're gonna do what we say because all these women are over here now, and if you stop working, they'll starve to death, right? These bitches are little hostages, and they look at these monsters as heroes, right? We should be slitting throats, people. We should be slitting throats, and I'm outvoted, and I'm not going to act without society, right? But I am getting as, like, You know, well, that's not true. I will act without society in reality. I just have to be empowered to be able to do that. And fortunately, technology has gotten to a point where people like me can be empowered to do that, and it can empower you too. Right? It can empower you too. Why are you playing this game with these industrialist shills who hide behind a facade of spirituality and child mutilation? Let's get real.
Are so important. No.
It's time to move forward.
The person who has the idea, the know-how, the capital, and the willpower to organize and make things happen, that's the most important person. We know that as a clear indication.
That is a person that is important. But that person is a lot less important than they used to be because we have technology now. Technically, we could all organize. Technically, we could even create a currency tomorrow that cuts him and all these assholes out, right? Like, how about this? How about there's a cryptocurrency tied to an app, and every time you meet each other, you can only add each other if you're within Bluetooth range. That generates money. So only people who actually have the knowledge and the travel to organize are in those positions, instead of corporate shills who are hiding behind a curtain of sexual coercion and intersexual segregation, right? Like, you know, this is why physical currency can be good.
Of how they're compensated at the highest level, millions, billions of dollars.
Yeah,
and
gold's
let me
good.
clarify
gold.
for you how unimportant a low-skill worker is. And this is how I know that you're lost, my dear brother. Here's the great thing.
This dude's a low-skill worker. He doesn't even work. All he does is say bullshit and fuck your wife. Like, who's the low skill? Like, he's definitely the smartest person in this room, because this guy, not in this room, but between the two of them, because this guy hasn't figured that out yet. Because if he had figured it out, wouldn't he be saying shit like this? Or he's an inside man.
Thing about the modern era, I can sit where I am, literally right here, not move a muscle. I can get off of this meeting. I can code a mobile application. Then I can run Google Ads, and that application can.
Okay. You see what he's saying, right? Everything he's saying an AI can do. You can literally go on. Yesterday, Elon Musk says this laptop class is crazy. Right? But it's yeah, that's just the issues of the day. All right, I'm gonna stop there for a minute.
Can make me $1 million without me having any employees or workers. We're in an era